Today is the 21st day of Tevis on the Jewish calendar, and on the Torah calendar, as we unpack and we read, we journey through the different Torah portions within the Torah as we complete in 1 year, we complete the entire Torah, reading a different Torah portion sequentially from week to week. We have just completed last Shabbat, we completed the first book of the Torah, which sets a stage for the Hebrew people, eventually the Jewish people, starting the generations from Genesis, and then the generations of Abraham and Sarah, Yitzchak and Rivka, Jacob and Yaakov and his family. And actually, at the end of last week's Torah portion, we have Jacob's family, the Hebrew family, as it were, at the time, coming down to Egypt as honored citizens because Joseph, one of their own, is in charge and has actually saved Egypt, the greatest economy, the largest country in the world, the most powerful country in the world at the time. He saved it from famine and saved the civilized world from famine, and he is in charge of Egypt's economy. He is second to Pharaoh, and he brings his family down, and they're living as honored citizens in the land. This week's Torah portion opens up the second book of the Torah, known as the book of Exodus. In Hebrew it's called Shemot, and that almost takes a step back and starts over again with the coming into Egypt, because it's going to be in a different key. We're going to now, it's the beginning of the story of the enslavement, the one that we're familiar with from the Passover story and the Passover narrative. And just to throw in that it's not just about slavery, in the sense that slavery is obviously a horrible thing, but slavery might sound to us as that they took advantage of us and got free labor or forced labor out of us. This was clearly from the Torah. This was about with an intent to destroy us as a people, to break our spirit, to break our spirituality, to have us really disappear as a discrete, distinct entity from the planet. And the labor was a means to that end. It was a devious plot, and with the suffering of the Jewish people was not just in the fact that they didn't get paid for their work or they worked very hard. There was excruciating torture given to them to break them as a people. And as the Jews, as the scene opens in this week's Torah portion, and kind of repeat that Jacob and his family, the larger family, comes down into Egypt, the language is they came each with their family. And there's a certain there's an insinuation there that they came down with a certain integrity of being. It was a family, each with their own family. There was a unit, there was an identity. And one of the things that the Torah tells us, that over hundreds of years of slavery, where the Jews suffered physically and suffered spiritually because they really lost their sense of connectedness with monotheism, with the Abrahamic tradition, with the sense of closeness to God, the idea that God loves them. These are things that really got lost in the horror that they were living. Yet it tells us, we're told that they held on to vestiges of Jewish identity, which kept them, by the skin of their teeth, kept them with the sense of who they were. So that there was a people ultimately to save and to redeem when Moses comes along, which is going to be in this week's Torah portion. And three things that the Talmud tells us is that they didn't change their names. They had Hebraic names. They didn't change their language, and they didn't change their mode of dress. Now, on the off the cuff, you think about it, those are not substantive theological things. You can speak words of substance or the opposite in whatever language you choose. The language is kind of would think it's just a neutral carrier. How you dress is what you say, don't judge a book by its cover. It really doesn't necessarily reflect on who you are as a person. And so they dress Jewish doesn't make them tell you whether they feel Jewish, or they have a substantive connection with their heritage, with their history, with their God. And the names is what's in a name, but a name is, most of us don't think about a name. It was given to us by our parents, and it also doesn't necessarily reflect on who we are at a specific time. Yet we're told that those three things, extraneous as they are from a certain level, they kept the Jews within the corral, the Jewish corral. So when Moses comes along in the sixth Torah portion, when God speaks to Moses and says, enough, we're going to take the Jewish people out, we're going to take them to Sinai, they're going to get a Torah, they're going to be transformed from the Hebrews into the Jews, we're going to take a step forward in destiny. There was a people to save. They existed as a people. They identified. And that tells us something, tells us a lot of things, but it's something that just to throw into our minds, that I see it in my work for 30 years. If there's something that makes you feel Jewish, do it. And if it's something that someone else is doing, don't diminish it because you say, it's not biblical, it's not even rabbinic, it's barely a tradition, it was only a tradition in Russia, not in Hungary. It doesn't make a difference. We have to look for whatever we can to remind ourselves who we are. The Jews going into Egypt faced extinction as a people, not only because of the oppression, but because it's hard to fight the tides of assimilation. And they're in a host country. We are, thank God, not in Egypt. And we are in an incredible country that supports us and allows us to be who we want to be spiritually, emotionally. A country that the Rebbe would call, I'll translate it as a kingdom of kindness. At the same time, our identity is not synonymous with the identity of the culture around us. We respect that culture. We hope that culture respects us. We are grateful to that culture, but we want to hold on to who we are. Obviously, a substantive way is to light Shabbos candles, to put up a mezuzah, to put on tefillin. That's unimpeachable. But it starts off with putting on a yarmulke from time to time, from buying a Jewish book and putting it in a bookshelf where you see it when you walk to your house. I'm not saying to study it. That's great. But even if not a Jewish ambiance, someone could say, what does that mean? Big deal. You don't even open the book. Why? Who cares if it's there? It matters. Because identity matters. And we have learned with thousands of years of history, starting from the Jews coming down into Egypt, that even what seems to be extraneous, if it's a marker and a sign to us, to each of us ourselves, of who we are, it's important. A great day, a day of just remembering who we are and who we need to be.